Welcome back, friends. You know, I was talking with my neighbor Carol the other day. She's 72 and has always been passionate about her vegetable garden. But lately, she's been noticing that some of her favorite vegetables don't agree with her quite like they used to. It got me thinking about how our bodies' needs change as we age, and how important it is to make smart choices about the foods we eat, especially after 60. Today, I want to have an honest conversation with you about vegetables. Yes, vegetables. While they're generally wonderful for our health, there are actually some we might want to be more cautious about as we age, and others that can be particularly beneficial for fighting inflammation, which, as you may know, becomes more of a concern in our golden years. Let me tell you something interesting. Did you know that our digestive system and inflammatory responses actually shift as we get older? It's completely natural, but it means we need to be a bit more mindful about what we put on our plates. I remember when Margaret, one of our regular viewers who's 67, wrote to me about how she couldn't understand why she was experiencing more digestive discomfort despite eating what she thought was a perfectly healthy diet. The answer often lies in making some simple adjustments to our vegetable choices. Let's start with the vegetables that might be better to limit or avoid after 60. Now, don't worry. I'm not going to tell you to give up all your garden favorites. This is about being aware and making informed choices. The first vegetable to be cautious about is raw cruciferous vegetables, especially raw kale and Brussels sprouts. I know. We've been told these are superfoods, and they are. But here's the thing. After 60, our digestive system becomes more sensitive, and these vegetables in their raw form can be quite challenging to digest. They contain complex fibers that can cause bloating and discomfort, particularly when eaten raw. The second vegetable to approach with caution is raw onions. While cooked onions are wonderful and beneficial, raw onions can be particularly harsh on our digestive system as we age. They contain certain compounds that can trigger acid reflux and cause digestive distress, which tends to become more common after 60. If you love onions, and who doesn't, try them sautéed or roasted instead. Third on our list is corn in large quantities. Now, a small serving of corn can be fine, but as we age, our bodies have a harder time processing the type of fiber found in corn. It can lead to digestive issues, and may not provide the best nutritional value for the challenges it presents. This doesn't mean you have to give up your corn on the cob at family barbecues. Just be mindful of portions and frequency. The fourth vegetable to be careful with might surprise you. It's raw tomatoes. While technically a fruit, most of us think of tomatoes as vegetables, and they're a common cause of acid reflux and digestive discomfort in older adults. The high acid content can be particularly challenging for those over 60. Cooked tomatoes are often better tolerated and actually provide more accessible lycopene, an important antioxidant. But now, let's talk about the good news. The vegetables that can be particularly beneficial after 60, especially for fighting inflammation. These are the ones you might want to add more of to your daily meals. First up is sweet potatoes. These wonderful orange tubers are rich in beta-carotene and antioxidants that help fight inflammation. They're also easier to digest than regular potatoes and provide steady energy throughout the day. My friend Betty, who's 75, swears by her morning sweet potato breakfast bowl. She says it's done wonders for her joint pain. The second inflammation-fighting vegetable star is spinach, particularly when it's lightly cooked. Spinach is packed with antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds, and when you steam or sauté it lightly, It becomes easier to digest and its nutrients are more readily available. Plus, it's versatile enough to add to almost any meal. Third on our beneficial list is butternut squash. This lovely winter vegetable is not only easy on the digestive system, but also rich in anti-inflammatory compounds and beta-carotene. It's particularly good for maintaining healthy skin and supporting our immune system, which becomes increasingly important as we age. The fourth vegetable to embrace is red bell peppers. These beautiful peppers are packed with vitamin C, even more than oranges, and antioxidants that help fight inflammation. They're also easier to digest than their green counterparts, and can be enjoyed both raw and cooked, depending on your personal tolerance. Let me share a lovely story about my friend Grace, who's 78. She was struggling with joint pain and inflammation, feeling frustrated with her limited mobility. After learning about these inflammation-fighting vegetables, she started incorporating them into her daily meals. She began with simple changes, adding roasted sweet potato to her lunch, having sautéed spinach with dinner, and snacking on sliced red bell peppers. After just a few months, she noticed significant improvements in her joint flexibility and overall well-being. Here's something important to remember. It's not about completely eliminating any vegetables from your diet. It's about being mindful of how you prepare them and listening to your body's responses. For instance, if you love kale, try it sauté instead of raw. If you enjoy onions, cook them thoroughly rather than eating them raw. The key is making small, thoughtful adjustments that work for your body. Let me share some practical tips for incorporating these changes into your daily routine. Start by gradually introducing more of the beneficial vegetables while slowly reducing the potentially problematic ones. Try roasting your vegetables. It makes them more digestible and brings out their natural sweetness. Experiment with different herbs and spices to make your vegetable dishes more enjoyable. And remember, everyone's body is different, so pay attention to how you feel after eating certain foods. I often get questions about the best ways to prepare these vegetables to maximize their benefits. For sweet potatoes, roasting them brings out their natural sweetness and makes them easier to digest. For spinach, a quick sauté with a bit of olive oil and garlic not only tastes delicious but also helps your body absorb its nutrients better. Butternut squash can be roasted, pureed into soup, or steamed. All excellent options. And red bell peppers are wonderful when roasted or added to stir-fries. Remember, dear friends, these changes don't have to happen overnight. Take your time, experiment, and find what works best for you. The goal is to support your body's health and well-being while still enjoying your meals. After all, eating should be both nutritious and pleasurable, no matter our age. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that you're not alone on this journey. Many of us are learning to adjust our eating habits as we age, and it's perfectly normal to need to make changes. The wonderful thing is that these adjustments can lead to better health, more energy, and a more comfortable digestive system. I'd love to hear about your experiences with these vegetables. Have you noticed any changes in how certain foods affect you as you've gotten older? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Remember, small changes can lead to significant improvements in how we feel. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Until next time, take care of yourself, and remember, eating well is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves at any age, but especially in our golden years. I'd like to share some additional thoughts about seasonal eating and how it relates to our vegetable choices after 60. You see, nature has a wonderful way of providing exactly what our bodies need throughout the year. In winter, we get those wonderful anti-inflammatory root vegetables and squashes that can be made into warming soups and stews. Come spring, we have tender greens that help our bodies transition. And summer brings us those colorful bell peppers and tomatoes that can be enjoyed cooked in various ways. Speaking of cooking methods, let me share something that changed everything for my sister Janet, who's 70. She was getting frustrated with her vegetables because she was either eating them raw or boiling them. Two extremes that weren't serving her well. Then she discovered the magic of gentle steaming and roasting. She found that steaming vegetables until they're just tender crisp helps preserve their nutrients while making them much easier to digest. And roasting. Well, that brings out natural sugars and creates a delicious caramelization that can make even the most basic vegetables taste like a gourmet dish. Here's another valuable tip I've learned from our community. Preparation matters just as much as the vegetables themselves. For instance, if you're going to eat any cruciferous vegetables, try chopping them at least 45 minutes before cooking. This activates beneficial enzymes that can actually help with digestion. And if you're cooking butternut squash or sweet potatoes, adding a small amount of healthy fat like olive oil or avocado oil helps your body absorb their nutrients better. Let me tell you about Robert, one of our viewers who's 82. He wrote to me about his creative solution for enjoying vegetables that sometimes cause him discomfort. He started what he calls his vegetable diary, noting how different preparations of the same vegetable affect him. He discovered that while raw tomatoes would cause him significant discomfort, slow-roasted tomatoes with olive oil and herbs became a delightful addition to his meals that he could enjoy without any issues. Temperature can also make a difference in how we digest our vegetables. Many people over 60 find that room temperature or slightly warm vegetables are easier on their digestive system than very cold ones. This is particularly true for those of us who have sensitive teeth or digestive issues. That's why letting your salad vegetables come to room temperature before eating them, or slightly warming your greens, can make a significant difference in comfort and digestion. I think it's also important to address the emotional aspect of changing our eating habits. Many of us have grown up with certain vegetables being a regular part of our diet, and it can be challenging to accept that foods we've always enjoyed might need to be modified or limited now. Remember, this isn't about deprivation. It's about adaptation and finding new ways to nourish ourselves. Here's a lovely practice that many in our community have found helpful. Instead of focusing on what vegetables you might need to limit, try concentrating on exploring new varieties and preparations of beneficial vegetables. For instance, if you're reducing raw kale, you might discover the delightful world of roasted delicata squash, or learn to love braised Belgian endive. There are so many wonderful vegetables to explore, and our golden years can be a perfect time for culinary adventures. Let's also talk about the joy of growing your own vegetables. Even if you only have a small patio or windowsill, growing herbs or small vegetables can be incredibly rewarding. It connects us to our food in a special way and ensures we have fresh, nutrient-rich produce right at our fingertips. Plus, gardening itself is a gentle form of exercise that can help keep us active and engaged. Before we close today, I want to emphasize something crucial. While these guidelines about vegetables to embrace or limit after 60 are based on research and experience, they're exactly that. Guidelines. Your body is unique, and what works for one person might not work for another. The most important thing is to pay attention to how different foods make you feel, and to make adjustments accordingly. Remember to be patient with yourself as you make these changes. Our bodies have supported us for many decades, and now it's our turn to support them by making thoughtful, nurturing food choices. Every small step toward better nutrition is a gift to ourselves and our well-being. Thank you for joining me for this extended discussion about vegetables and healthy aging. I hope you've found it helpful and encouraging. Keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep enjoying the wonderful world of vegetables in ways that make you feel your best. Until next time, take good care of yourself and remember, you deserve to feel wonderful at every age.